So I don't know if anybody here knows this, but I used to live in New York City. And I lived there for 13 years before I moved to the fabulous Macon, Georgia. And there's always a first year. There's always a first year when you live somewhere new, right? So I lived in, let me put this down for here. I got stuff to talk about. So I moved to New York when I was 20, and I turned 21 2 months after I moved to New York. And my first year in New York, I should have moved the fuck back to California where it was safe and my life was not in constant danger. And that is what this story is about. So my family lived in Connecticut, which is about a 2.5-hour drive from where I lived in Staten Island, New York, which doesn't sound scary. It's the forgotten borough. It seems really crazy. It's super Republican, so keep that in mind. But I would drive to Connecticut quite often to visit my family there. And my Aunt Denise and my Uncle Ray, and they had this big, beautiful backyard and a little tiny house. So I would drive back and forth, and so I would go up on a Friday after work. It would take me 14 hours, 32 minutes. Not really, but it took me longer than 2.5 hours. And then on Sunday nights, I would leave around 8 o'clock and I would head back to Staten Island. And I would drive through the Bronx. So I would drive through the Bronx, and then I would drive over the George Washington Bridge through New Jersey because it was cheaper, and I was poor. I was 21. I didn't have money. So I would try and skip the tolls, and I would go through Jersey, and then they'd come back through the Goethals Bridge. And I know that was a lot of map in your brains that didn't make any sense. It doesn't matter. But what matters is that my car broke down in the fucking Bronx, and that's what really matters here. And everybody should be a little bit scared for me because I wasn't scared at all. I was 21, dude. I was like, oh no, my car broke down. So I pull off the side of the road, pull off the highway. I pull into a neighborhood and I see what I later come to find out is called a bodega. And a bodega is very simple. It's a very simple idea. It's basically a little tiny store about the size of this area right here. It's about the size of this area right here, and it sells everything from condoms to beer to cigarettes. You could buy your mom a fancy rose for her birthday. Like, it just has everything in this little area. And I stopped there, and there is it's probably, so it's 1997. It was 1997. Oh my god, that was a lifetime ago. So it's 1997, so cell phones are really a thing. It's not a thing that you have. So my car breaks down, I pull up to the bodega, and I have this little card because texting AAA isn't really a thing. You have to call. You have to call them and they come. And I didn't even have AAA. I had some sort of off-brand AAA kind of thing through my insurance that I had to call. So I go to the payphone outside of this bodega because it's super safe right now at 1 in the morning, and I pick up the payphone and I turn around, and there's 4 men standing in front of me, and they are very excited to see me, and I'm thinking I am so not excited to see them, and I really wasn't excited to see them when they picked me up by my clothes and slammed me against the wall, and I just knew my world was over. I just knew things were not gonna go well. And they were discussing with me how I've definitely rolled into the wrong neighborhood, how they would like to do things to me that we can't talk about. Well, I mean, we can't talk about them, but do you really want to hear all the dirty things they want to do to me? Because I don't, you know. And as I'm slammed up against this brick wall next to this bodega, I hear from somewhere, from the gods, from the heavens, just put the girl down. And I look over, and it's a cute little black man from the Bronx who is not so cute because he has a sawed-off shotgun, who has come out to save my white ass. And he basically went, put the girl down, and they did. They put me down because he had a gun to their heads. They all back and they were like, no man, we didn't mean any harm. We weren't gonna do anything. And he was like, yeah, you were. It was like, no man, we'll see you later. Oh, Chuck, we'll see you later, and they like head out the door. And that man stayed with me until my it was AAA or was it what, I don't know what it was, until they came and they drove me all the way back to Staten Island. But if you're gonna be stranded in the Bronx, you always want to have that dude with a sawed-off shotgun to save your life. That was my story.